as we stand, I'd like for us to have a moment of silence for those that lost their lives during the mass shooting in Orlando. So let's stand and have a moment of silence. Now the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Burris. Corwin.
Here.
Johnson. Here. Gibson. Here. Peterson.
Here.
Yoder.
Here. You have before you the agenda. Please look it over, see if there's anything that needs to be changed on the agenda or added to. Hearing no changes, is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. Public comment. Hearing none, then let's move to the minutes of the May 24th meeting. It is in your packet. Please review it.
Move the minutes be approved as presented.
Well, after the police report, it says 5 yes, 0 no, motion carried. Was there a motion about the police report?
Now I should put attached. Should be.
Larry, is it all right if that correction was made before you move?
Motion wasn't correct. Seconded, so I will correct the motion.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that the minutes be approved as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Reports, the Department of Public Works report. Do you have anything to add in addition to your report?
Got brush picked up today, huh? Is yesterday? Today, yesterday.
Okay. And then the city manager's report. Well, just a second, I'd just like to see if the chief had anything to add to what he had handed out.
No.
Thank you. City manager.
So, as you guys can see, Texas Mount Columns coming along. Actually, I put at your table in a few different spots the trophies that we're going to be giving out to participant restaurants based on people's votes. The DDA elected to pay for some Facebook advertising, and that actually has reached something like 8,500 people. So, we're pretty excited about that. I think as of right now, we've gained $8,200 in sponsors, I think $525 in artisan vendor fees, and we just got our shipment of like 100,000 tickets and 2,000 wristbands, and the Rotary applied for the on-site beer and wine permit. So things are coming right along, and we have fencing, we have picnic tables. I think we've thought of everything, but we'll find out on the day, I guess. You do have a preliminary copy of the budget in your packet. There's already been a couple line items that have changed. Tonight I really just want to continue that vision session and talk about some projects that we have in mind for the coming year. Make sure that at the next meeting where we approve the agenda, you guys don't have any surprises. And like, as I said, we'll finalize that budget next meeting. I would like to add just a shout out to the DPW in a public meeting because they've been down man because Dan Wicks is actually at his mandatory military training for the year. He's in the National Guard. Yeah, and so they've been down a man still just going at it pretty hard. Today they mowed like I think at least a 10-acre site for us, the park site that we lease, and still been putting in meters, and they've been attending some meetings for us, and they're going master plan draft done. The planning commission will be going over that on Thursday. It came out, I think, to 98 pages, so it's a pretty comprehensive plan. After it's hopefully approved by them at that meeting, it'll come to the city commission for presentation and review, and you guys will have the option to approve that. So we'll go from there. Oh, one thing to add as well. I did consult with the mayor and the village president before this, but I was appointed to a budget review team task force by the county, the new county administrator, Bob Klingenfield. Essentially what that is they put together a special team to look through their budget crisis, as I'm sure many of you have been following, and includes the county administrator, the head of the finance committee at the county commission, and then myself and a regional manager for chemical, a finance manager for chemical bank. So Bob Klingenfield, the new county administrator, asked Josh, the guy from chemical bank, and myself to serve. And after consulting with the mayor and the village president to make sure they were okay with it, I said yes. So that appointment was made yesterday, and I'll keep you posted.
You had a good answer for yes.
So, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, who is the financial person for chemical?
Josh again, the commercial banker, if I'm not mistaken. You know who that is?
No.
Oh, I know he's based in Greenville, but I think he travels around a little bit. I've only met him the one time. But our role will essentially be, I think our role will, mostly be making recommendations with an external point. So, we're not in these departments, so our job is to go in and look objectively at the budget and see what needs to get done. And then also, I think there's sort of an oversight component to it. I think the county perceives a lack of trust in their leadership at this point, per their own words, and so they'd like to bring us in just to make sure that people are confident in those decisions. See how it goes.
Any other questions, city manager?
You have our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Jake, do you want to make any further comment about the projects for the budget?
Are we on to that item?
Yes, moving on to existing business.
Sure, so I don't have, this is all strictly conceptual at this point. I'll go over it in a more detailed presentation when we go through the actual budget, but, some of the things that we've been talking about since I got here, I'd like to try to tackle with this coming budget. So first and foremost, the DDA is very interested in utilizing whatever profits they turn with the Taste of Mont Colum and any tip capture they gathered in a wayfinding project. So directing signage for the downtown area as well as welcome signs at our gateway areas on M66. So that's been worked in, and then paving or refinishing it one way or the other. Walnut Street is going to be a major project that I think we should consider this year. So from Grove, I believe, to 66, it's been chip sealed. I think that was in 2013. And this area from Grove Street over is getting pretty weather worn and potholed. So, we'll work with somebody who's had some pacer training to determine what the best outcome for that is, whether it needs an overlay or whether it needs chip seal or what will be taking place. But you'll notice that funding line item for capital improvements is in major streets. The other large thing that we'll be trying to take on this year is a comprehensive capital improvement process. So working on a 5-year and 10-year capital improvement plan, asset management plan, where we actually work with our department heads as well as our frontline staff to try to put together a plan for major capital purchases and projects over the course of the next decade. That'll roll into the asset management planning that we're going to have to do down the line. By 2018, DEQ is going to require water and sewer asset management plans. As you may recall, we're in line for funding this fall for a SAW grant. SAW stands for Stormwater and Wastewater through the state of Michigan. That's through Prina Newhoff. We've been working with them on that project. That's $500,000 to basically investigate and assess our sewer system. And from there, we'll put together an asset management plan that'll give a relative budget and timeline for any improvements that need to be made to those systems. What I'm proposing is this year we get, and you already approved a water asset management plan project with Prina Newhoff. what we'll do this year is work really hard on itemizing, inventorying, and assessing value on our infrastructure so that we can make more informed decisions in the future concerning, where are we going to spend our resources to try to make sure that we're hitting the most needed projects. So that'll be another big endeavor for the coming budget year. Another area is New Street, north on New Street. There's a pretty significant hole in that road that'll also be repaired. And then there will be some general road maintenance, so some potential crack sealing, chip sealing projects, things like that. Those are my major projects. The other thing is obviously the Veterans Memorial Park. We're still going to be forging ahead on that. We should get we should hear about the outcomes of several large grants that we're in for very soon. The ICE grant that was submitted. The outcomes were supposed to, the awardees were supposed to be notified on the 10th, and nobody has heard anything, so typical. Not super surprised by that. I emailed Jason today, and he's going to look into it and see if MEDC's got a plan for when they're going to make that announcement. The TAP grant and the Natural Resource Trust Fund grant applications, those will take a little bit longer to come back, but we're still in pretty active communication with Roe. They're keeping their finger on the pulse, and they'll let us know as soon as we hear anything. In addition, last budget year we earmarked $200,000 in capital outlay for that park project. We used as match funds, planning and design funds, things like that. We basically just rolled the remainder of those funds over into the new budget. So, and then I gave it to you last Friday to take a look at if you had any questions, anything like that, anything that you thought needed to be addressed this week. So we have a couple weeks to get a handle on it before the presentation at the end of the fiscal year. Other than that, it's been a pretty smooth process. Janet did a really good job pulling together the revenues, and then we took a look at what we're planning for this year, and it should be fairly straightforward. We'll be adding a part-timer in the police department to backfill a couple of positions. We had 5 officers when I got here, I believe, including the school resource, and we're down to 3. So that will be taking place shortly. Other than that, I mean, it's really just, giving you guys, based on the vision session that we had, where you guys kind of talked a little bit about what you'd like to see accomplished. The wayfinding will be huge. Those welcome signs are going to give us a new avenue by which we can communicate with the public because they're LED and we can program them to say, some of the really high resolution ones, you can actually upload a photo, like a digital photo, and it'll actually look pretty good from the street. The other thing will be, involving community organizations, so not only the DDA, but also the library, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, the American Legion, and, trying to see what attractions, trying to get a lot of public input in our decision-making process to determine, what are our amenities, what assets do we want to highlight with signage. That's going to be a crucial project. And the other thing will be tying in the Fred Meyer Heartland Trail. So finding ways to place strategic signage on the trail to try to draw people from that trail into downtown. That's kind of the main endeavor of that wayfinding. And that's, something that is a community development piece. It kind of improves not only the likelihood of people exploring the city that maybe haven't, but it also improves the quality of life for people living in the city, because I've literally talked to people that live in the city that don't know where the library is. And to be able to just give common sense information to people to find those types of resources might turn them on to those resources, and that creates a more active citizenry. So that's the goal there. That's really, I just wanted to give a quick run through of projects, answer any questions.
Does the commission have any questions? Jake?
Like I said, there will be a formal presentation at the next meeting.
You're talking about the DDA and signage. Are they thinking about, like on the Meyer Heartland Trail, a list of food establishments that are available out now?
It could be something like that. So, and that's why what we'll likely do is a survey process. So we'll probably put somebody out on the trail, or put a box of surveys out on the trail and ask people to fill them out. Like I have friends that are huge cycling fanatics, and they ride through here. Before I actually got this job, I told them, well, right after I got the job, I told them where it was, and they're like, oh yeah, we use the bathroom at that McDonald's on the Heartland Trail. And I was like, well, I think we can do a little better than that. So I think trying to figure out exactly what amenities cyclists and walkers and travelers on that trail are looking for, while also highlighting some of our favorite amenities. So, we have great antique stores, we have some great local restaurants, we have nice little shops. There are all kinds of things that, you know, if I was on that trail, I might be interested in stopping and taking a break and coming downtown and having lunch, taking a look. So highlighting those amenities is going to be huge, because the way I think the way I described it in my interview is you have essentially what is a vein of disposable income, right, like going right through your town. You just have to find a way to divert some of that into your town. So that'll be the project for this year. Really, we've been working with the Friends of the Fred Meyer Heartland Trail really very actively about the park project, and now it's time to actually try to integrate that trail into the downtown corridor. So that'll be an interesting process. Wayfinding is a big part of that.
And please be looking over the preliminary budget figures.
And I'll be available by email for questions if they come up, or you can stop into the office and Elizabeth can take them down for you.
Okay. Entering into new business. Jake, could you tell us about the old-fashioned day gaming license, please?
Sure. So this is something that, in order to have any kind of 50/50 or financial raffle of any kind in the state of Michigan, you need to have a gaming permit. So Stanton Old Fashioned Days would like to do, I believe it's a 50/50 raffle. Dana, is that right?
That's just a general raffle.
General raffle, okay, so they'd like to do a raffle that involves purchasing tickets and money, so they need the gaming license. Pretty standard, I mean, even high school football games that do raffles and stuff have to file these permits with the local municipalities that they're in. So my recommendation is that we entertain a motion to accept that permit.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported, or is there further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Nay. It is carried. Is there any other business that we need to deal with tonight?
I gave you a pretty light meeting because next meeting we may have a road doing their presentation and budget presentation, so it might be a pretty long one.
Any public comment?
I'd like to ask a question about the signage downtown that prohibits bicycles. Is there something we can do to maybe make it more friendly to bicycles since we're wanting to?
Yeah, so that trail initiative, there's some really low cost or no cost things we can do, and some of that is ordinance review. So, you know, our sidewalks are wide enough, according to best practice, that there's no reason to disallow necessarily bicycles and skateboards and things. Typically the reason for that is it's a safety issue. They're worried about people coming out of buildings getting hit by a bicycle. But there's actually, nowadays, a lot of municipalities, big and small, are putting designated painted bike sign, like bike lanes even on their sidewalks. And you know, given, like I said, we have a very busy and very well-used trail going right through the downtown, I think we need to look at those kinds of options. So that'll be part of the total package for trying to draw people from the trail downtown, and that'll go hand in hand with that wayfinding. So pointing them to that signage, removing, you know, potentially amending ordinances that disallow bikes on sidewalks. We'll have a really hard time getting a bike lane put in on M66. It's been something that I've investigated a little bit, and I don't think it's impossible, but I think you have to convince MDOT, and that's easier said than done.
In the states of America, has it come about where there's going to be an overflow of parking problems, or you think?
We're hoping not, but you know, as a first-year festival, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how many people are going to show up. We anticipate if we have good weather, it will be throughout the day from 11 to 11 into the thousands. Our plan, we do have a parking plan in place, which will be to station volunteers at all the public parking lots, and then we've got permission to use a couple other parking lots. We'll also be staging cars diagonally along Lincoln, next to the park, so on either side of the road, and then treating that as a one-way, so to leave that, you'll go around the block and come out of Camper. And I believe we'll have all of our officers, well, no, we'll have Officer Surdam and Officer Meyer, then we'll have County Mounted, the Mounted Division through the county also help us. Okay, good, and a road sergeant. So we should have plenty of police presence, then we'll also have a pretty strong volunteer presence. I believe the event has 65 volunteers recruited, not including the, I think, 8 guys from the fire department.